It's been some time since one of these videos, so I thought we'd dive back into the series by taking a look at some quarterbacks. Today we're going to be taking a look at the top 10 quarterback recruits from the 2014 class. For this video, we're going to be using the 24/7 Sports composite rankings. Before we get to today's video, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to the channel. If you love college football, then this is definitely the place for you. If there's a top 10 you'd like to see in the future, drop a comment down below and it very well could be my next video. Kicking off this list at number 10 is Kaaya. He attended Chaminade College Preparatory in Los Angeles. He threw for a school record 3,900 yards with 27 passing touchdowns as a senior, and he finished his career with 5,800 yards and 40 touchdowns in 2 seasons. He chose to go all the way across the country as he committed to Miami. He was named Miami's starting quarterback during fall training camp and was great as a true freshman. He was named the ACC Rookie of the Year and the Offensive Rookie of the Year after throwing for 3,200 yards with 26 touchdowns. He was first in the ACC in passing touchdowns and was second in passing yards. He threw for 3,200 yards again during his sophomore campaign, the second most in the conference, but only threw 16 passing touchdowns. He set career highs during his junior season as he threw for 3,500 yards with 27 passing touchdowns. Instead of returning for his senior season, Kaaya opted to declare for the NFL draft. He's currently the all-time leader in passing yards in Miami history and is third in passing touchdowns. The Detroit Lions selected Kaaya in the 6th round of the 2017 NFL draft, but he was waived right before the season began. A day later, he was claimed off waivers by the Panthers. He was waived by them in October, and a day after he was waived, he was claimed off waivers by the Lions, the team that drafted him. In December of 2017, he was signed by the Colts off the Lions practice squad. Then, in August of 2018, he was waived and placed on the injured reserve list. He was waived from the injured reserve on February 8th of 2019. Then, a few days later, he was claimed off waivers by the Bengals. However, the Bengals decided to make him an unrestricted free agent, and he's been out of the league the last 2 seasons. He's currently attending USC and is majoring in cinematic arts. At number 9, we have Jacob Park. He attended Stratford High School, where as a senior, he threw for 3,700 yards with 33 passing touchdowns while leading his team to the Class Division II state championship game. He committed to Georgia, where he redshirted his freshman season in 2014. Then, he transferred to Trident Technical College in South Carolina, a school that didn't even have football. He kept in shape by playing in a church football league with friends. Then he landed at Northeast Oklahoma A&M, where he attended school and joined the football team, but he didn't play. Then in 2016, he transferred to Iowa State. He split time at quarterback through the first 7 games before becoming the Cyclone starter over the last 5. He led the team in passing yards with 1,800 yards and had 12 passing touchdowns. He started the first 4 games in 2017 before taking a personal medical leave of absence from the team. That season, he passed for 1,200 yards with 9 passing touchdowns. He said that the challenge of balancing school, football, fatherhood, and living with the mother of his child became too overwhelming. Park also said that he failed a drug test because of marijuana usage and was facing a suspension from Iowa State. Then, in December, he asked to be released by the team. Park then transferred to Missouri Southern State University. In October of 2019, he broke a record for touchdowns responsible for with 8 touchdowns in 1 game, and he tied a single-game touchdown passing record with 5. Through that point in the season, he led Division II in passing yards while ranking 2nd in total offense, passing yards per game, and completions per game. Earlier in the season, he broke his own school record against Central Missouri as he threw for over 500 yards. He had 3,000 passing yards through 8 games. So I couldn't find much anything else after that point, so I'm guessing his football career ended following the 2019 season, and I'm not quite sure what exactly he's up to now. Up next at number 8 is Drew Barker. He attended Conner High School in Kentucky. During his high school career, he completed 66% of his passes for 6,300 yards and 62 touchdowns. In addition, he also ran for 4,000 yards with 51 rushing touchdowns. He decided to stay close to home and committed to Kentucky. He redshirted during his freshman season, and in 2015, he played in 5 games, making the final 2 starts of the season. He only completed 50% of his passes for 350 yards with 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. He then started the first few games of the season for the Wildcats in 2016, but missed the final 9 games of the year after suffering a back injury. In 2017, he announced that he planned on transferring out of the program. He'd be a graduate transfer, meaning he'd be eligible to play anywhere else immediately. However, he announced that he would stay in Lexington to finish his master's degree, but decided he'd be retiring from football. According to his LinkedIn page, he's currently enrolled at the University of Cincinnati and is actively working towards a Master of Business Administration degree. He spent the last 2.5 years at American Modern Insurance Group, where he's been a sales account manager. Number 7 on our list is David Cornwell. He attended Norman North High School in Oklahoma. He only appeared in 5 games during his senior season, but still threw for 1,500 yards with 12 touchdowns. During his junior season, he threw for 2,800 yards with 27 touchdowns, while rushing for 800 yards with 6 scores. He committed to Alabama, where he didn't see any playing time over his first 2 seasons. In 2016, he appeared in 2 games, but it was very limited action. In 2017, he opted to transfer to Nevada, where he hoped to get significant playing time. He didn't make his debut until a month into the season. He finally got the start, but completed only 13 of his 25 pass attempts with 3 interceptions. Just 2 days after his first start, he announced he'd be leaving the program. He then transferred to East Central, a Division II school in Oklahoma, for the 2018 season. In 11 games, he made 6 starts and completed just 47% of his passes for 700 yards with 6 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. His name resurfaced as part of the XFL showcase in 2019, but he didn't make a team, and that would be the end of his football career. Number 6 on this list is another fellow B. Harris, but this is one who had a little better football career than I did. Brandon Harris. He attended Parkway High School in Louisiana. As a senior, he threw for 3,200 yards with 34 passing touchdowns, while also rushing for over 1,000 yards with 15 rushing touchdowns. He committed to LSU. During his freshman season, he played in 9 games with only 1 start. He threw for 450 yards with 6 touchdowns and added about 200 yards on the ground. He was named the full-time starter for LSU in 2015 and started every game for them. He threw for 2,200 yards and 13 touchdowns, while also adding 200 yards on the ground with 4 rushing touchdowns. He started only 2 games for the Tigers in 2016, and then in the offseason announced he'd be transferring to North Carolina. And things just didn't work out with the Tar Heels. He completed 35 of 71 passes for 350 yards with 1 touchdown and 8 interceptions. He also only averaged 2.5 yards per carry. He lost the quarterback battle to Chaz Surratt. Yes, the all-ACC linebacker who will be entering the upcoming NFL draft. And that would be the end of his playing days. Brandon Harris is currently the director of recruiting at Texas. Before we get to the top 5, if you could give this video a thumbs up, I would greatly appreciate it. It helps share the video with more college football fans, and it only takes a second to do. Number 5 on this list is Jared Hurd. He attended Kaaya High School in Texas. During his senior season, he threw for 2,200 yards with 22 passing touchdowns, while also rushing for 2,200 yards with 28 rushing touchdowns. He stayed local and committed to Texas, becoming one of the highest quarterback recruits in Longhorn history. He redshirted in 2014 and became the starter in 2015. He missed a few games, but still threw for 1,200 yards with 5 touchdowns, while also rushing for over 500 yards with 3 rushing touchdowns. In only his second career start, he broke Vince Young's single-game record for offense in a game by a Longhorns quarterback, accounting for 527 yards of total offense. After his freshman season, they transitioned him into a wide receiver. Over his next 3 seasons, he caught 57 passes for 340 yards with 4 touchdowns. He went undrafted in the NFL draft and didn't crack a practice squad roster anywhere. He was selected in the 2020 XFL draft by the Dallas Renegades. He was waived though in February of 2020. But he then signed with the XFL's Team 9 practice squad and was then re-signed by the Renegades in March. He had his contract terminated when the league suspended operations in April of 2020. Number 4 on our list is kellercrist. He attended Palo Alto High School in California. During his career, he threw for 7,300 yards with 85 touchdowns. He stayed very local as he committed to Stanford. He didn't see any action in 2014 and then only played a handful of snaps in 2015. In 2016, he appeared in all 12 games and started 6 of them. He was undefeated as a starter, throwing for nearly 1,000 yards with 10 passing touchdowns, while also adding 200 yards on the ground with 2 rushing touchdowns. In 2017, he appeared in only 7 games, throwing for 1,000 yards with 8 touchdowns. After he graduated from Stanford, he transferred to Tennessee. He appeared in only 8 games and never made any starts, as he was the backup quarterback. He finished the season with 450 yards and 3 touchdowns. Following the 2019 NFL Draft, Chris was invited to both the Colts and Steelers rookie camps. During the 2019 season, both the Bills and the Seahawks brought him in for tryouts, but he was never able to crack a roster. He then participated in the Spring League's Denver Showcase event in July of 2020. He threw for 150 yards with 2 touchdowns in the Showcase game. He was selected by the Aviators of the Spring League during the player selection draft in October of 2020. Before we get to the top 3, drop a comment down below and try to guess who the top 3 quarterback recruits were from the 2014 class. Coming in at number 3 is Will Greer. He attended Davidson Day School in North Carolina. As a junior, he threw for a national record 837 yards, shattering the old record of 764. As a senior, he had 5,000 passing yards with a nation-leading and North Carolina record 77 passing touchdowns. For good measure, he also added 1,300 yards on the ground with 13 rushing touchdowns. For his high school career, Will Greer threw for 14,600 yards with a state record 195 touchdown passes, in addition to 3,000 rushing yards and 31 rushing touchdowns. He committed to Florida, where he competed for the backup job. He didn't play in 2014 and then competed for the starting job in 2015. He received a solid amount of playing time, but he received a 1-year suspension effective in October of 2015 after it was revealed that he had tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs. He said that the positive test stemmed from an over-the-counter supplement and that he didn't know that it was banned. Also, while admitting he never followed protocol to clear the supplement with team trainers. His appeal was rejected by the NCAA, and he would not be eligible to return until the 6th game of the regular season in 2016. In December of 2015, Florida announced that Greer was planning to transfer to another school. In April of 2016, he announced that he'd be transferring to West Virginia. He sat out the entire 2016 season per the NCAA transfer rules. He was named the starting quarterback for the Mountaineers in 2017 and was excellent. He finished the season with 3,500 passing yards and 36 total touchdowns and was named the Big 12's Offensive Newcomer of the Year. Instead of declaring for the NFL draft, Greer returned for another year. Greer finished the 2018 season with 3,900 passing yards and 37 touchdowns. He was named second team All Big 12. Although his time with the Mountaineers was brief, he's currently 3rd all-time in passing yards and 2nd all-time in passing touchdowns in West Virginia history. He was drafted by the Panthers in the 3rd round of the 2019 NFL Draft. So far through his NFL career, he's made 2 starts, throwing for 200 yards with no touchdowns and 4 interceptions. Number 2 on this list is the most successful quarterback that you'll be seeing, Deshaun Watson. He attended Gainesville High School in Georgia. During his high school career, he set numerous state records, including total yards, total touchdowns, passing yards, and passing touchdowns. He also rushed for over 4,000 yards with 63 rushing touchdowns. Watson decided he'd be committing to Clemson. Now, I can make an entire video talking about his successful career while with the Tigers, so let me try and summarize this as best as I can. He was the ACC Player of the Year in 2015. In 2016, he was the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm winner. He was the ACC Athlete of the Year in 2016 and 2017. He was a 2-time Davey O'Brien Award winner, a 2-time Manning Award winner, and a 2-time Heisman Trophy finalist. And he was a college football national champion in 2016, while also taking home the national championship offensive MVP in 2016 as well. He finished his Clemson career with over 10,000 passing yards and 90 passing touchdowns, both the 2nd most in Clemson history. He also added 1,900 rushing yards with 26 rushing touchdowns. Watson was selected 12th overall by the Texans in the 2017 NFL Draft. Since then, he's become one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL. He's a 3-time Pro Bowler and has thrown for over 14,000 yards with 104 touchdown passes while adding 1,700 rushing yards and 17 rushing touchdowns. In 2020, he led the NFL in passing yards with over 4,800 while averaging 9 yards per throw. Hopefully for Watson, he's able to get the hell out of Houston so he can thrive somewhere else and lead a deserving team to the playoffs. Coming in at number 1 on this list is Kyle Allen. He attended Desert Mountain High School in Arizona, where he threw for more than 8,000 yards and had 86 passing touchdowns in his career. He committed to Texas A&M. As a true freshman, he competed with Kenny Hill for the starting job, but ultimately lost it. However, after some bad play from Hill, Allen was named the starter. He went on to finish the season with a 3-2 record as the starter, including a bowl win and its MVP award. He finished his freshman campaign with 1,300 passing yards and 16 passing touchdowns. Allen was named the starter the following year, but ultimately lost his starting job midway to Kyler Murray. On the season, he threw for 2,200 yards with 17 touchdowns. That offseason, he announced that he'd be transferring from the program. In January of 2016, Allen announced that he'd be transferring to Houston, although he wasn't eligible to play for the Cougars during the 2016 season due to the transfer guidelines. He began the 2017 season as the starting quarterback, but was benched after only a few games. For the season, Allen threw for 750 yards with 4 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. Instead of returning to Houston, he declared for the 2018 NFL Draft. He went undrafted, but was signed by the Panthers as an undrafted free agent. He appeared in 2 games and made 1 start for the Panthers in 2018. Then in 2019, after Cam Newton got injured, Allen started 12 games for Carolina. He threw for over 3,200 yards with 17 passing touchdowns and 2 rushing touchdowns. After a pretty decent season, Allen was traded to the Washington football team in 2020 for a 5th-round draft pick. The trade reunited him with former Panthers head coach Ron Rivera. Allen was named the starter after Dwayne Haskins was benched prior to the Week 5 game. Allen dealt with numerous injuries in 2020, but still started 4 games for Washington. He completed 69% of his passes for 600 yards with 5 total touchdowns. Well, those were the top 10 quarterback recruits from the 2014 class. Whose name on here that you were shocked didn't pan out? Drop a comment down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Also, if there's another top 10 video you'd like to see in the future, drop a comment down below and it could be the next one I make. If you haven't done so yet, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications so you never miss another video. If you love college football content, then this is definitely the place for you. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.